up, class? Today we will be going over section 8.3, solving applications of systems of linear equations in two variables. Turn to page 577 and let's look at number 29. The direction says, use two equations and two variables to solve each application. Number 29 says, the salary of the President and Vice President of the United States total $592,600 a year. If the President makes $207,400 more than the Vice President, find each of their salaries. If you look at the notes, it says two variables. So I'm going to use X and Y for my two variables. Let X equal the president's salary, and I'm going to let Y equal the vice president's salary. Now, some things that I know. I know that the president makes $207,400 more than the vice president. So when I see the term more than, I know that's addition. If you look at what I use for the president's salary, I said X for the president's salary equal the vice president plus $207,400. I also know that when I combine the president and the vice president's salaries, they both equal $592,600. So now I have my two equations and my two variables as well. I want to now solve for X and Y. So to solve for X and Y, I'm going to use the substitution method. We talked about the substitution method, the addition elimination method, and we've also talked about graphing. Any of those methods is sufficient to answer this question, but I think the substitution method is probably the easiest route. If you notice, X is already isolated. So since X is isolated, everywhere I see X, I'm going to plug in the right side of that equation. If you look here, I removed the X and replaced it with the right side of my equation, and I still brought down my plus Y, my equal, and my total. Now, I'm just solving for Y. Very simple. We're just solving an equation. So to solve this equation, I want to subtract the $207,400 on both sides. Opposites equal 0. I'm left with 2y equal. I subtract these two numbers to get $385,200. Divide 2 on both sides. When I divide 2, I get $192,600. And that represents the vice president's salary. Now, to do the president's salary, if you notice, I have a formula for the president's salary. My X equal Y plus $207,400. Since I've solved for Y, I'm going to substitute my value for Y and add the two numbers to get $400,000, and that will be my president's salary. Now, to check it, if I add these two salaries together, it's going to give me my total salary of the $592,600. Look at number 33. Number 33 says a plumber wants to cut the pipe shown in the illustration into two pieces so that one piece is 5 feet longer than the other. How long should each piece be? So if I look at this, I have two variables. I want to let X equal the long pipe and Y equal the short pipe. Now you can use mental math and figure this out. I know that my total is 25. I know I need two pieces. I know that one piece has to be 5 feet longer than the other. So you can really use mental math and figure out what the two numbers would be. But we want to set up our two equations. I do know that the long pipe is my short pipe plus 5 more feet. I also know that if I add both pipes together, it gives me a total of 25 feet. So now I have my two equations, and I want to solve for x and y. Again, I see x is already isolated. So where x is, I want to substitute x with y plus 5. Bring down my plus y, bring down my equal 25. Combine like terms, so y plus y is 2y plus 5 equals 25. Subtract 5 on both sides, and I know 25 minus 5 is 20. I have to divide 2 on both sides, and 20 divided by 2 will give me 10 feet, which represents my short pipe. Now to do my long pipe, I have a formula for that, which is x equal y plus 5. I have 10 for y plus 5, which is 15. When I check, I know 15 plus 10 will give me my total, which is 25. Look at number 37. 37 says the length of a rectangle is 3 feet less than twice its width. If its perimeter is 48 feet, find its area. This is a loaded question. When I see the term less than, that means you write the first part last and the last part first. So, for example, if I say 2 less than 5, I will write 5 minus 2. Also, we know perimeter means you add all the sides. In a rectangle, we have 4 sides. Your perimeter formula is twice the length, because we have 2 lengths, plus twice the width. And you know, with a rectangle, it has 4 sides. Or you write it in reverse. 2 twice the length plus twice the width equals perimeter. I also need to know area. I know area is length times width. So the area of a rectangle will give me length times width. So I need to know all this information to figure out this problem. One more thing you want to know as well is the word twice. When I see the word twice, that means 2. 2 times something. Okay? On this example, I let x equal my length and y equal my width. Now, if you want to change up your letters and do L for length and W for y, that is fine. It does not matter. But I want to be consistent and use x and y. What I do know, I know that it says 3 feet less than twice the width. So I have my 3, twice my width, which is 2y, and the word less than. Remember what I said with the term less than. You write the first part last and the last part first. So if you notice, I wrote 2y and then the 3 after that. Next part, I have to apply the perimeter formula. So this example is slightly different than the examples that we just done. Okay? We have to apply that perimeter formula. I know that if I take twice my length plus twice my width, it's going to give me a perimeter of 48. So that is my total. Now, since x is by itself, again, I want to substitute the 2y minus 3 for x. So I'm taking my second equation, I'm going to substitute for x. I have 2 times, parentheses mean times, 2y minus 3 plus 2y equal 48. Now, we want to apply distributive property. Distributive property have 2 times 2y, which is 4y, minus 2 times 3, which is 6. Okay, and now bring everything else down. Next step, combine like terms. I know 4y plus 2y is 6y, minus 6 equal 48. Add 6 on both sides of my equation. Opposites cancel out to 0. 6y equal 48 plus 6 is 54. Divide both sides by 6, so y is 9. So y equal 9, that gave me my width. To find my length, again, the equation for my length is x equal 2y minus 3. I have 9 for y, so I want to substitute 9 for y. 2 times 9 is 18, minus 3 will give me 15 feet. Okay, so the question asks for area though. So I want to find the area of this problem. So I take my length, which is 15, times my width, which is 9, multiply those together to get 135 feet square or square feet. Whenever you're doing an area, it's always going to be to the second power, feet to the second. Perimeter is going to be a unit to the first power. Area is a unit to the second power. And then volume is a unit to the third power. Look at number 41. This is our last example. 41 says, Bill invested some money at 5% annual interest, and Jeanette invested some at 7%. If their combined interest was $310 on a total investment of $5,000, how much did Bill invest? If you notice on this problem, we're only interested in what Bill invests, and that's it. Not Jeanette. We're not too much concerned about what she invested. We want to only know about Bill's investment for this particular problem. So we only need to figure out what X is. So I want to let X represent Bill's investment and Jeanette to represent Y. Now, I know that together the total investment is $5,000. So X plus Y will give me $500. Now, when you're working with percentages, you want to always convert the percentage to decimal, okay? 5% is 0.05% and 7% is 0.07%. 0.07 will give me my 7%. Okay, so now we know that whenever you convert a percentage to a decimal, your decimal is understood to be to the right of the whole number, and you move it 2 spaces to the left. That's how we got these 2 decimal numbers. If you look at the second equation, that's how I did my second equation. This represents the combined interest. It says in the reading that the combined interest is $310. So I take my interest of 5%, which is 0.05x, okay, and that's the interest for Bill, plus the 0.07y, which is going to represent my interest for Jeanette, and combined they equal $310. So now, right here, I only want to isolate y, and that's it. So to isolate y, I'm looking at this equation here. To get y by itself, I had to subtract x. So that's what I did. I had y equal 5,000 minus x. So now, since I have one variable isolated, I can again do substitution. So I want to solve for x only. If you look at the second equation, I'm going to plug in. Now, don't be afraid of the decimals. If the decimal intimidates you, then you can multiply these by 100 because you notice it's in the ones, tenths, hundredths place. So you can multiply all 3 parts by 100, and that'll help you get rid of the decimal. But as long as you got a good calculator, you can just easily type this in and you should be good. So looking at this problem, notice where y is, I substituted that with the 5,000 minus x. I want to do the shredder property again. So when I take the 0.07 and multiply by 5,000, that gives me only 350. And then 0.07 times negative x is minus 0.07x, and that equals 310. So combine like terms. These 2 terms combine to give me negative 0.02x, bring down to 350, bring down to 310. My goal is to solve for x. So subtract 350 on both sides. I have negative 310 minus 350, which is negative 40. Divide both sides by negative 0.02. When I divide these 2 numbers, I know that a negative divided by a negative gives me positive. And when I divide these 2 numbers, I get 2,000. So Bill investment is $2,000. So from the total investment of 5,000, Bill investment is 5,000. Okay, class. I do, again, you are trying out some problems on your own. So take your time and try those out and study.